What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Board Games Are For Everybody. First and foremost, I want to apologize for any background noise that might be going on. I've been waiting for like half an hour for this helicopter that's around to stop going around. I did a bit of a test video and it didn't really sound like you could hear it on the video. However, for me, it is actually quite loud, so I just want to apologize if that is in the background. However, let's just hop right into this. Today, we are going to be doing an unboxing for Tokyo Highway. This game looks really cool. I saw it online. I think it was just in a top 10 video. I saw it online and I thought that it looked like something I would really enjoy. I'm a big fan of abstract games. I like the creativity that can be used in space to make a game, basically. Basically, the way this one works, to my understanding, I haven't played it yet. To my understanding, though, you start with a certain amount of roads already built up, and you're trying to create pillars and continue the highway in order to make an exit down onto whatever your play surface is so that your cars can leave the highway. It is a 2 to 4 player game. It can get really chaotic, I would assume. I assume there's a bunch of rules for not just making it so people can kind of branch off in one direction. I'm sure there's stuff that allows you to try and block your opponents and stuff like that. But we haven't played it yet, so I'm not quite sure. But we are going to do an unboxing. We're going to check the components and stuff that are in here, and we're going to go from there. There's already actually a tear in my plastic wrap, apparently. So let's go with that. That makes it a little easier to open, seeing as I don't actually have a pair of scissors or anything. Probably would have been a good thing to get before we started. So, according to the back here, the components that we have are 10 cars in each blue, pink, green, and orange. We have 36 road sticks. We have 80 gray columns and 8 yellow columns. We have 1 pair of tweezers, and we have 4 buildings of different sizes and shapes. Let's just get this plastic wrap somewhere that is not going to be in the way. Let's get this box open. Hopefully there's a little less glare now that the plastic wrap's off. I know some boxes can be kind of shiny and actually add more glare. And seeing as, unfortunately, I moved tables and our light is still right above this table, so we still have a little bit of glare going on. So we got our I assume these are the instruction manuals. We have one in French and we have one in English. These are literally just printed off on some, like, it just feels like paper, basically. Some fancy paper, but just paper. 2 pages. 2 pages of rules, and that is the entire rules. That is impressive. I am a big fan of short rules, short instructions, something that you can learn very quickly. There are a lot of games that we've picked up lately that have like 4,000 page rule books, and it's just too much. It's too much. So seeing this is definitely a breath of fresh air. It means it's going to be super easy to get into this and to start playing. So that is nice to see. A short instruction manual. We got our building pieces. We have just this long building here. We have a more cylindrical, circular building. We've got kind of abstract tower-esque building, and we have a smaller, more like an office building kind of thing. Whereas I guess this could be considered more like a skyscraper sort of building. We have our tweezers to help us place our pieces when it gets a little too tricky to just use our hands. We've got all of our cars, which, man, I gotta say, I'm very glad that all of these are already in separate packages. I am a big fan of games being organized. I hate I hate just throwing things in boxes. A lot of the stuff that we own, when we get to it, you'll notice I have put in bags if they don't already have bags or some sort of conventional packing system. So it's nice to see all of these in bags. We got our different color cars here. We have our 8 different colored pillars, and we have our big old bag of regular size pillars here, along with all of our road pieces, which just look like really long popsicle sticks, honestly. Something else that I just noticed, I'm a big fan of, that I've noticed in a lot more modern games, is that they've started putting holes inside of all the bags to let the air out. That's a really smart idea that they really never used to do. So that is also something I do if I have to put stuff in my own bags. I always try and hole punch a hole into the side to allow the air to escape a little better. This is one of our popsicle sticks. Sorry, one of our roads, not one of our popsicle sticks. It's just a long popsicle stick. This is just a long popsicle stick painted gray. These are our road pieces. They are pretty, I mean, if this thing ever breaks, you could totally just go buy a long popsicle stick and paint it gray and you'd be good to go. These are super replaceable. Let's check the quality of our cars here. Pretty nice. It's just a little like wooden, feels like a little wooden car, little wooden playing piece. That's pretty nice. Let's see if it wants to focus here. If I can actually find where my lens is. I've been having trouble with, oh, it's focusing the wrong way. There we go. Just like a little wooden car. It's pretty nice. The quality is nice. And obviously we can, they're a good shape that we can pick up with our tweezers if we need to do some precise placing with them onto roads. So that is obviously intended. So that's the way it was supposed to be. Let's check out our discs here. Again, just a wooden disc. Pretty nice. They're very long, widthwise. Obviously to make roadways higher. There we go. I just had a bit of a fluff on this one. Was just trying to clean it up there. We've got our gray discs. I assume they're made of they all seem to just be made of a wood, but what I was going to say is I'm guessing that these are pretty well similar, just painted a different color, both pretty good quality. The buildings, again, the same. These actually have like a fresh paint smell. It's a little weird, and I don't know if it's the roadways or if it's these discs here, but I didn't notice it until I started opening these discs. The buildings are nice. It's just like a building block, basically. So those are pretty good quality. Everything here pretty good quality. Only thing you might have trouble with is definitely these sticks here to resemble the road. They are, like I said before, basically just a popsicle stick. They're pretty, I mean, you'd have to put quite a bit of force on them in order to break them, but you know, you can feel that tension if you're bending it a little bit. Granted, you probably aren't going to be bending them all that much, so you should be okay. Let's take a quick look at these rules here, see what we got going on. Tokyo Highway Rule Manual. Number 1, the components. 4 colored cars with 10 cars each, tweezers, 4 buildings, 36 road sticks, 80 gray columns, and 8 yellow columns. Preparation. Distribute the game pieces for each player accordingly. Please refer to the diagram below, depending on the number of players in the game. Now, typically, we only have 2 people to play with. I would love to have 4 or even 3 people to play this with, because it feels like something that could get really chaotic if you have 4 people playing. I think that would be a lot of fun. So let's just do a mock-up here, I guess. We're gonna do a mock-up. Let's move these guys up here. I am going to be green. My partner would probably be playing as pink. So we get our 10 cards each. We have 3 yellow discs each. And we would have 30 gray discs each. This is going to take a little longer having to count out 30 discs. 30 is a bit more than 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So there is one set of columns, let's say for me, green, and we need 30 for our partner here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8. I think this one rolled off. 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This should be 30. So 30 for pink, 30 for green, 3 colored ones for pink, 3 colored ones for green, and each player would also get 15 road pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 for green. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I believe that was. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 for pink. Assume the buildings kind of get put in their own spot in a second here. And that is all the pieces that go to each player in a 2-player game. The first player is the one having taken the highway most recently. That would probably be our partner, seeing as I don't typically drive on my own, nor am I allowed to drive on the highway. I only have my G1, which is hopefully changing soon for anyone out there who is a big driver. I know, should probably have that. I do not. That aside, our partner is going to be playing first, so first player is the last one to be on the highway. Each player locates a gray column plus road plus car at the center of the table as shown in the illustration. This is the entrance to your highway. You will construct roads to your highway from this first column starting point. So I guess each person starts down on the ground and comes up 1 space. So we would be starting as such, correct? And we have a green car on one side, and we have a pink car on the other side. I have a bad feeling I'm gonna start running out of room. Just trying to, doesn't seem to be focusing on the table here. Just going to try and get a focus on the center. Did that work? Hopefully that focused a little bit. And we got a pink car on this side. Okay. 1 road space in between. 1 road space length in between is what we need to separate them. We're a little short of that. There we go. That seems to be 1 road length. Three players would start in a triangle, it looks like. And I guess 4 players would start in a square, but seeing as we are just doing 2 players, we start in a line. Number 3, in reverse order from the player building last, choose a building and place it on an arbitrary point on the table. This will be an obstacle when players build their highway. You must not touch or move buildings during the game. So because I built last, I would take a building and I guess just place it wherever. So say I put one here, my partner would then grab a building and let's say they place it here. Then I would take another one. Let's say we go over here and my partner would take the last one. And let's say they decide to put it back here. These are the way our buildings are set up for this game. Goal of the game. Oh, it says buildings aren't used in a 2-player game. I guess it makes it too complex in a 2-player game. Okay, well, I guess we'll keep the buildings out then, but I'm sure you could use the buildings in a 2-player game if you wanted to make it a bit more challenging. I'm sure that wouldn't be an issue. However, for the time being, since we're playing a 2-player game, we will keep it as the rules say for a 2-player game. Goal of the game. Construct your highway by using columns and road sticks. Place your cars on the highway by building roads across your opponent's highways in grade separation. Build your roads efficiently to finish all your cars quicker than your opponent. Place your cars on the highway by building roads across your opponent's highways in grade separation by building roads efficiently to finish all your cars quicker than your opponents. Order of play. You have 3 things to do during your turn. Number 1, build a column. You must build 1 column to extend your road to the position of the column. Oh, there was a period there. That's having 2 at the end of a sentence is a little weird, eh? You must build 1 column to extend your road to, period. The position of the column can be anywhere as long as it is reachable from the base point of the column or junction built to your previous turn. The height of the column must be 1 above or below the height of the base point. You may not construct a column on the same height 2 stories above or below. So you can only go up a series of 1. So you can either, from a starting point of 1, you can make 2 going upwards in order to go up, or you could go down 1. However, it seems that we have to go up first. Where were we? Height of a column, 2 stories above. Height of the following. Follow the exceptions. I guess we're going to get some exceptions. 2, build a road. Build a road between the base point and the column built in 1. For placement rules, please refer to 5 road placement rules. We haven't gotten to 5 yet, however, we will be soon. You must adjust the position of you may adjust the position of column in 1 when building your road. Number 3, place car. For details, refer to 6, car placement. Okay. Your turn ends when you have placed 1 or more cars, or if you run out of construction material. Game goes on, repeating 1 to 3 alternately. You may no longer adjust the position of your column, road, or cars once the next player builds a new column. Number 5, road placement rules. Road placement largely affects the outcome of the game. Be cautious of the following points when you build your road. Number 1, adjust the road edges on 2 columns. The edges of the road must rest on the column tops. So this is okay. However, you cannot have it sticking out too far past the column. It has to be on the column. Number 2, connect road edges on a single column. Keep the balance when you connect road edges on the column. So this is okay, and this is also okay. However, what are we doing? This isn't okay. You can't have a piece that is on top of the center piece of the column. However, you can have roads that are on top of other roads, it looks like I would guess that they are going on top of another road set at a higher height. 4. Other prohibited acts. Do not make an enclosure. Do not touch other roads and columns. So because you would have a tier 1 column going to a tier 2 column, and down here you have a tier 1 going to a tier 2 as well, these would intersect in the middle most likely, and you aren't allowed to have roads touching. In order for this to be acceptable, both of these would have to be at tier 2 so that that road very clearly stays over top of that piece. And you aren't allowed to build enclosures, so you can't have loops and roundabouts and such like that. You have to keep your straight paths. Number 6, car placement. To place a car on your highway, the newest road you construct in your turn must cross your opponent's road in either of 2 following ways. Crossing over a road that has no road above it, crossing under a road that has no road below it. So you can either cross above or under a road in order to place a car. However, you can't go above or under a road that already has a road above or below it. You have to build on a new piece. You may place 1 car for each road that your road crosses, satisfying the above conditions. You may locate your car at any part of the newly constructed road. You may choose to simply extend a road without meeting the conditions for car placement. Caution, you may not place a car for building a road across your own highway. So you have to make sure that your own highways aren't what you're crossing over, because you can't gain any car placements for that. Example 1, place your cars efficiently to gain the upper hand. If your road crosses multiple roads satisfying the conditions, you may place multiple cars according to the number of roads crossed. Crossing over 2 roads at the same time in the example here. This is crossing over and under at the same time. That's pretty impressive, going over and under at the same time. That's pretty crazy. Example 2, please check if your road meets the conditions. Your road crosses over 2 of your opponent's roads, but A is already crossed over by B. The only road that has no road above it is B, so the number of cars you can place here is just 1. We're talking about this example up here, where you only have one road, that being road B underneath here that's being crossed, because road A down here is already being crossed by road B. So you'd only be crossing road B. Building a junction. The yellow column is called the junction. When you for one build a column as a junction, when you for, is it trying to tell me? For one, when you build a column, gotcha. When you build a column, so God, where am I? I'm just getting all confused here, trying to jump around the instructions. The yellow column is called the junction. When you build a column as a junction, you may do the following. 1, increase or decrease the height of the column by any number. You may freely choose the height of the column regardless of the height of the base point. Same height is also possible. The yellow column must be placed at the top of the pile and cannot be used independently. You need at least 1 gray column beneath the yellow junction column. You may only construct a column of 1 more or less stories as usual in the following turn. You may choose to build a junction consecutively in the following turn. In this case, you may freely choose the height of the column again. If the road angle is too steep, it gets harder to place cars, so be careful. So I guess the steeper your columns end up being, the more likely it is for the cars to slide off, which would definitely be unfortunate. Branching out 2 ways. You may branch out your highway to 2 ways from a junction. You may not do this the turn after or any of your turns during the game. You may only branch out once from a junction. You may do this. Oh, you may do this the turn after or at any of your turns during the game. Gotcha. I thought it said you can't do it the turn after. So once you place the junction, you can have one road that branches out from said junction. However, you can only do that from the junctions, and you can only do it once. 8, making an exit. If you can ground a road safely to the table, you have created an exit to your highway. You may place an additional car as a bonus point on the exit road. If your car crosses your opponent's road while grounding, satisfying the condition in 6, which, as a reminder, is the car placement rule, you may place multiple cars on the road. You may not start a new road from this exit. So this needs to be planned at the end of the game or with the use of junctions. So basically what it's saying is that from the beginning of the game, you only have one road path until you build a junction. So if you were building a road and all of a sudden you built an exit, you can no longer build any roads. So you got to make sure that you use those junctions if you're going to build a road. Number 9, penalties. If you drop your opponent's cars, pillars, or roads during the game, you must hand over your pillars, gray or yellow, to your opponent as a penalty. You must offer a number equivalent to the pieces you have dropped. The game proceeds only after the drop parts are fixed by the player responsible for the ruin. There is no penalty for dropping your own pieces. So you're only penalized if you mess up your opponent's highways, and then you have to reconstruct your opponent's highways. So I guess you have to pay attention to how it was built up in order to put everything back the way it was. That could be pretty intense if you just destroy like an entire highway. That could be pretty crazy. End of the game. When all your cars are placed on the highway, the first player to finish all of their cars is the winner. Winner leaves the game, and other players will continue the game. When construction materials run out, if you are short on construction materials, your opponents go on to play their turns. If your opponents complete the turn with no penalty, the player with no more construction material will lose the game immediately. Other players will continue the game. If only one person has remaining construction materials, that player is the winner of the game. Dawn of Highway in Tokyo. This has nothing to do with the game. This is some Tokyo lore dumping, I suppose, giving us a bit of a background of Tokyo highways. So that is all of the instructions. That's pretty easy to consume. That's not all that hard to understand. Only thing I want to double check here is just the beginning. I believe it said that you play until you cross over one of your opponent's roads, and then it switches over to the opponent. Your turn ends when you have placed one or more cars, or if you run out of construction materials. So you have to place a car in order for your turn to end. So let's do a bit of a mock-up game here, I guess. We may as well, since we already pretty well have it set up. So the pink player is the first player who is going to be starting. So basically, the way I understand it is that you would want to create a roadway in order to get over your opponent's roads as quickly as you can. I think we got knocked here a little bit. We'd probably be something like this. And then I guess we would need to do what? I guess we could do 2. I think we're allowed to stay on the same tier, correct? We may have to go 1 up or 1 down on everything. No, it looks like we have to go 1 up or 1 down on everything. It looks like we can't actually use the same amount. So what would have to happen is the player would have to use 3 in order to go up. They would use one of their sticks, which I think I may have just stolen a stick from the green player and not the pink player. And this would allow them to place one of their cars down. And that would be what ends their turn. So we want to place a car here now that we are over top of our opponent's highway here. And that would bring us to the green player, who, I don't know if we can do it like this, but we're going to see if we can do this without the cars, without the things intersecting. No, see, this is what it was talking about in the thing, is that if we try to do it like this, we're going to intersect with this road right here, so we're not going to be able to do that. So what we would have to do is we would have to come forward like such. Gotta move these pillars here a little bit. And then we would need to do 3 in order to cross over like this. And we would build we would be allowed to place a car on here, giving us 1 point. And from this point, I suppose this is where things kind of start getting crazy now that we have a bit of a setup going here, because we now need to build until we get over our opponent's blocks here. So pink would have to come, well, I guess they could probably come down this way, right? So if we did this, and I don't think I'm taking blocks from the right thing, but we're just doing an example, so it's okay if we're taking stuff from the wrong place. And we suddenly come down this way. We're now able to place a car here, seeing as we went over this bottom one. Is how I interpret it. I suppose in the rules it does say you can't go over a road that already has a car on it. So I may already be playing wrong. Let us consult the rules here. Placing cars. Place a car on the highway. The newest road you construct in your turn must cross your opponent's road in either one of the 2 following ways. You may place 1 car for each road that your road crosses, satisfying the above conditions. You may locate your car at any part of the newly constructed road. You may choose to simply extend a road without meeting the conditions for car placement. You may not place a car for building a road across your own highway. You may not place cars on your roads already constructed in previous turns. That makes sense. So it looks like we can build something over this road. It looks, the way I'm reading the rules, it looks like because we do go over a road that is not our own highway, and it's not a road we previously constructed, we can also put a car here. That would bring us back to us. Now, I would kind of just start doing the same thing here. However, if I start coming back this way, because now the problem that the pink player has is that they are now over on their own highway side. So they need to find a way to get back onto the green highway side. So what I think I'm going to do here is green, instead of coming this way, kind of like pink did, green is going to start coming back this way to try and make a bit more of a mark here. I'm going to see if we can try and get into this little middle piece here. We definitely can, but we need to move it a little bit. Like such. So because we are crossing over pink's highway here, I'll fix this highway up. Because we're crossing over pink's highway here, we actually get to place a green car onto this space. And basically the game would continue like this until one person completes, until one person places all their cars down, I suppose. And should we just go through a whole game here? I don't know. I don't know if we should go through a whole game. I think you would be fine using these, I think you'd be fine using these building pieces even as a 2-player game. I think it could still give a bit of a challenge. I mean, obviously you're going to spend some more resources trying to get around, but I think having the buildings even in a 2-player game can still be pretty interesting. So now that our pink player is kind of over this way, we're going to have to they're going to have to find a way to start looping back around so they can get over top of another piece here, because currently they are stuck on their own highway side, which means they won't get any points for crossing over their own highway. So what they're going to do is they would probably have to start coming over this way. We'd have to go up to 3. I'm currently taking from my pile. Have to not take from my pile. It's probably what I've been doing the whole time. It's closest to me. It's what I'm doing. So they would do, say, 1 road here. And because they haven't placed a car, it would still be their turn. And they would likely want to try and come this way. Now, I don't know if us trying to go down to 2 over here is going to make us hit this. We're going to find out. But they would want to try and come over this way to try and get over this highway right here to try and grab some points. But I don't know if we can reach that without hitting this highway. Maybe if we bring it down this way a little bit. So, I mean, it's not touching the highway. It is above it a little bit. It's not intersecting. I think that would be a legal move. So we would get 1 car on this piece for having it over this green highway. And I think this is where I'm going to stop this up, because we would just end up continuing until we end up making a whole thing. And I think I'm kind of running out of table space here. But this is more or less Tokyo Highway. This is definitely something I'm looking forward to playing with my gaming partner. I think it's something that they're really going to enjoy. Hopefully it is something that we will be able to record some sessions for, because I think we can end up with some really interesting setups visually, which is a big reason why I wanted to pick this game up in the first place, is that it just has such a nice table presence. It has such a nice visual presence. I really like the way it looks. I really like kind of how the game flows and how you can kind of morph it into your own thing. It seems like something that can really be different every time that you play it, based on how your opponents react, based on how you react. Definitely playing with more than 2 players could make it a lot more chaotic. But this is definitely a game I am very much looking forward to playing. In saying that, that's all we got for this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have played Tokyo Highway, let me know what you think down in the comments. Has this video made you want to look into it more? Let me know that as well. But until next time, just remember that board games are for everybody. I hope I will see you all then. Until next time, peace.